I can hear you. Yeah, but how do I post it? I want to post it on Twitter.
I'm sending it. I'm sending it.
Start this again.
Oh, good job, Bruno. I knew it was worth having you here for something.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Talking to the Dog Benfica Podcast. My name is Alfredo Fumaças. With me, as always, Cristiano Oliveira. A little false start here. Cristiano, come on, man.
Wrong pod. What's going on?
Same old.
Hey, a week closer to an actual real game.
To a real game.
Exciting times. I mean, this roster has had such a turnover from last season's disappointing roster that I can't wait for the first game of the year.
Yeah, maybe so. With us, we don't have Dave. Dave can be with us tonight. We wish him well.
Love you, Dave.
Love you. With us, our producer extraordinaire, Bruno.
Hello, my friends. Good to be here.
Bruno's actually in the same room as us, but we had to figure out something with the multi-camera. So we have a camera on Bruno. He's in the corner of the room over there. We're over here, as always.
And this
He's
screen,
over there, we're over here.
And this screen right here is only room for one ugly person. We can't have two. So, I take up the ugly part. So, two guys, two
I know, John.
people.
What's happening, John?
John.
Been a while, man. I know that you've been traveling, man. Safe travels. I know you're in Portugal not too long ago. Hope everything is well over there. What the hell are you talking to? John, in the comments. He knows what I'm talking about.
Hey, John. Welcome.
You
I know
remember
you're
John?
in Portugal.
We met him in Connecticut. He had his son with him.
I thought that was Hugo.
No, it was John.
I don't know. Hey, John. Thank you for the pastéis nata.
No, it's not. It's not. You didn't meet him in Connecticut. You weren't with us in Connecticut.
I was.
Did you go eat before the game? Not Connecticut, Pittsburgh. Sorry.
Oh,
Pittsburgh. That's what I meant.
Oh, see,
Pittsburgh.
you're messing me all up.
Sorry.
This guy, don't pay attention to this guy, ladies and gentlemen.
Good, man. All right. Awesome. So,
but John, welcome anyway, John. Appreciate it. You know what I mean? I hope, thanks for sharing the kid and, not sharing. Thanks for introducing the kid to us, and I hope he's doing well.
Yeah.
How's that?
His son was a big fan of Salvio.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. No, I don't know if you met him. He was at Red Bull also. We met him shortly at Red Bull. Anyway, welcome Taylor. Welcome everybody. Sergio.
Taylor Swift.
Hey Sergio, when are you gonna be back on Twitter, brother?
What's Sergio?
Já foste.
Onde é que estás, pá? Why? Well, he's not on Twitter?
He got suspended.
Nah, him getting suspended. I don't believe it. I do not believe it.
Why couldn't you use that Champions League credits that you had with all those views to get on Twitter, bro?
But why did he get suspended?
He got suspended because I think he used copyrighted material.
Nah, not him.
Já foste? He's a media whore, you know.
Já foste. Yeah, I'm surprised Já foste is home right now watching this rather than like jumping in front of a camera somewhere in Toronto. Já foste. Miss you, brother. Yo, by the way, Já foste. I got to wear this 1908 Benfica shirt because you don't send me any new gear. What are you waiting for?
How many shirts has he sent us? Like at least two.
Not enough because I ain't wearing them.
That's why you got to do your laundry, bro. Anyway, welcome to our podcast, episode number 413. Tonight we will Benfica played the last two games of their preseason. We'll have some thoughts on those games. We're getting ready for also the Champions League. We'll have a preview for you next week since the game happens on Wednesday. But we're going to talk market also. Benfica signed another player, which, Cristiano has the scouting report from straight from Italy on Mete.
I don't know nothing.
Mete. So here we are. Welcome, everyone. So let's get right into it. Benfica played the last two games of their preseason. The first one against Lille, the second one against Marseille. We'll go with the Lille first. Vlaco Dimos in goal, Gilberto Veríssimo, Vertonghen and Grimaldo, Weigl and João Mário, Pizzi and Rafa on the wings, Waldschmidt and Ramos. So again, the 4-4-2 used by JJ. But against Marseille, we saw the 3-5-2 or whatever you want, 3-5-3, whatever you want to call it.
3-5-3. That's too many players.
3-5-4.
3-4-3.
3-5-4.
3-5-4.
3-4-3.
What is it, 1960? And they're
just
2-5-8. I mean,
it's a pyramid.
Yes.
You ever read Jonathan Wilson's book?
Who's Jonathan Wilson?
Exactly. So anyway, Gonçalo Ramos gets another goal. Bruno, what are you thinking about Gonçalo Ramos so far, dude?
I think he's our new Jonas Pistolas. You know, he's the new
Yeah,
Pistolas. He's the new Pistolas. Look,
He's got the Pistolas celebration.
he gets the chances, he scores the goals. That's all I gotta say about that.
Yeah, definitely. What about you, Cristiano?
Look, I'm excited. The kid, at least he's doing what he didn't do last year in the regular season, which is putting the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah.
He's, it's preseason, very early on. We all hope that, like any other kid coming up from the Seychelles, we hope that these kids come in and they play well, and we hope that they develop to the point that they become regulars on the 11. So I'm hoping he does well. I hope he continues this hot streak that he's on in the preseason. But now, the very next game, like they say in Portugal, my friends, contar. So contar.
Yeah, no. Look. A lot of it sometimes we get a little bit misled in preseason is because the guys that come into camp that are a lot more in shape will stand out because the other guys have tired legs, so on and so forth. And these guys that are a lot fresher that took the time to prepare in the off season and arrived at camp in pretty good condition, they stand out because they have that extra endurance. And I'm not saying that Gonçalo Ramos is that, but some of the things that I see in Gonçalo Ramos that JJ may like is the fact that he never stops up front. And it was something that our friend over in BTV was mentioning, João Martins, was that he never stops. He never stops in the front line. He's always looking for pockets. He's always looking for lanes. He's always looking for space to get in. And he's a guy that works his ass off. Now, is he going to take away Seferovic's spot? Probably not. But it's still a viable option.
Let's put our money on the table right now. Oh, chips. Damn, I got the chips back there. I can't reach them. But ladies and gentlemen, chips. Do you think, and you too, Bruno, Burbar, get in on this. Do you guys think Gonçalo Ramos starts against Spartak Moscow? He'll be one of the strikers that JJ opts for.
No way. I don't think so. He doesn't have the experience. I mean, he's too young for it, I think.
Alfredo?
No, I don't think he starts. Okay. I think that Seferovic gets the start. I think it's just after everything that Seferovic did last season, I think that, unless JJ feels that he's not yet in tip-top condition, I think that Seferovic starts. It's a no-brainer. I think that Ramos could be a smart decision off the bench, but I don't think he starts him. But the kid's been good so far in the preseason. He's definitely making a case to stay in a first season, in a first team. He was in the first team last year, but he didn't play much.
I love these questions. This is the reason why I was smiling, because I first of all, I'm happy to be here alongside you gentlemen once again. Second of all, I love talking Benfica. And third of all, it's a topic that we discussed
at length,
plenty of times last year. And it's to me, I'm laughing because I'm the one that's here always arguing as to why he shouldn't be. You guys want him to get playing time. And now that the guy is on fire, and here's an opportunity. The guy scored against Gazapia. Come on, dude. I mean, not many guys did that this year. But he's played well in the preseason. And so I think you guys have been all on that side of the aisle where you think he should be playing a lot more. And I mean, if he's not going to play now, where he comes in to this game where he's had some consistency, he had some consistent minutes in the preseason, and most importantly, he's actually put the ball in the back of the net, and you guys still think he's not going to play. So then, I mean, I don't think he's going to play as well. I think at the end of the day, as I stated in the last podcast, it's going to be tough for him to get playing time as long as Fedovic and Vinicius are on this team.
But I'll tell you this.
But I would not be I will say this. Unlike you two who are big Gonçalo Ramos fans, I will not be surprised if JJ pulls a rabbit out of his hat and he does start in that.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing that I'll tell you. Here's the thing that I'll tell you. If I'm inside JJ's brain, Seferovic starts, my choice would be Gonçalo Ramos.
Okay. Wait. Are you saying Seferovic and Gonçalo Ramos?
No,
one
Gonçalo Ramos.
Oh, okay.
Well, whoever's the forward up front, he's going to obviously play a supporting guy. To answer Sergio's question, Cebolinha is back. He is training with the team. Chico Marcelino, September it looks like he'll be back.
Yep. Look, I hope whoever the hell scores goals, because we need him. We can't have another repeat of last year's upset against the almighty PAOK. And second of all, we want a young kid like that to develop. But I do think JJ is probably going to opt for the more experienced guys.
Yeah.
But again, as I stated before, Gonçalo Ramos, I know it's Casapias and these, smaller teams in the preseason and all. Leo, whatever's a nice finish with the head, with it, off a corner, PZ corner, by the way. And he was, was able to get at the end of that corner and was able to tuck the ball away. And so fantastic for him. Look, this is the argument that can be made for the likes of Gonçalo Ramos, which is he's finally putting the ball in the back of the net. And as I stated last year during the season, when you guys were clamoring for him to get more playing time, I was like, look, when he gets the opportunity, that one cross, I'll never forget, it was a cross, and he headed that shit and he hit the corner flag. At least now, it was close. At least now he's putting the ball in the back of the net. So knowing JJ, I think he's going to opt for the more experienced guys. But because Gonçalo Ramos has played so well here in the preseason, I don't even think not so well, but he's been able to put the ball in the back of the net. I think knowing JJ, you know how he is. He likes to throw surprises at people. After all, he did start the Villa Luis at left back in the Dragão, so we never know what this guy will do.
Yeah. Interesting game. It's good to see the progression of the team in terms of, how the team is more cohesive, gelling together. There's some processes there. But the one problem that I see, and it's almost like seeing a repeat of what we saw last season, there's not enough chances being created offensively. And a team like Benfica has to have a lot of chances created and it has to put away goals. And right now, I just don't see that happening. And against Marseille, we had the same issue. Good stuff in terms of dynamics in the back, the build out in the back, the high press, also to get that ball back. But we're not creating enough chances up front to be able to have a chance to capitalize. And I think that if you don't create, then obviously your percentage of putting balls away is going to be much less.
Well, yeah, in particular a game like this where obviously Benfica's got all the pressure coming into this game. I know the first match up is in Russia, the second leg being at home. But yeah, the pressure is all on Benfica. It's all on JJ. Benfica has to go to Russia and they have to come away, 2-0 lead. They have to put the ball in the back of the net. So it's important that they do take advantage of the few opportunities that they get. And right now, that's why I said I won't be surprised if it is Ramos, because he's been hot. And I know the other guys have been on vacation. They haven't really had much, rhythm here in the preseason. So I would not be surprised if JJ throws a wrench in things and surprises even his old foe, Rui Victorious, in that all-important first matchup, because Benfica has to come away with the nice lead coming at the start to lose and, just take care of their own business.
Yeah. I have a question though. So who do you think is the second of Ansado? And I'm guessing you think Vinicius has no chance at all then?
Well, from what CM was reporting is that Vinicius is on the market.
Right.
That JJ basically doesn't really believe in him or feels that he could add anything to this team.
Look, I do think I will not be surprised, let's just say, if both Seferovic and Vinicius, by the time September rolls around, these guys are both out. One thing, Seferovic had they had a good season last year. Say what you want. He finished second behind Pot for leading goal scorer in Portugal. He had a lot of ups and downs, but at the end of the day, he scored goals. And as I mentioned before, he was our most consistent goal scorer last year. Then he went on to have a fantastic Euro. So Benfica, I think that they missed the boat 2 seasons ago, well, 3 now, when he scored 31 goals and they didn't sell him.
But his stock is higher now.
That's what I don't know if his stock is high, but that it might be, whatever. But his stock now, the point is that this is one of the last opportunities, unless the guy comes into the season and scores a boatload of goals and his stock even raises even higher because he got the World Cup next year. But this is one of the final opportunities that Benfica is going to get to transfer someone like Seferovic. And then the whole thing with Vinicius, the only reason why I believe he's still on the team at this point is because the priority coming into this season is not just the Campeonato at the end of the year, but the most important priority, the main goal, the first objective at the beginning of the season is to qualify for the Champions League. So they're going to have to do everything they can. They're going to have guys that know the house, that understand the coach, that understand the language, understand the culture. They can't afford to let these guys go and bring in guys that are going to take time to adapt. And then you have these all important games at the beginning of the season to qualify for the Champions League. But I do believe Benfica gets through, when Benfica gets through Spartak Moscow, and then they have the final playoff, right, matchup, if Benfica gets through that hurdle, and Benfica qualifies for this upcoming season's Champions League, I believe both of them guys, there's a great possibility that they're both out. And the reason why I believe Vinicius might be on the way out, and I do believe he will be out at the end of the year, is because he's represented by men's. Just like last year. I know, guys, look, we're all sitting here. We're all Benfiquistas. We adore our club. But I know all of you have the same reaction. Like Tottenham. Like, what the? Vinicius at Tottenham. Like, had it been a Wolverhampton, okay, fine. At Tottenham. So if Aurelius could, where am I going? If Mendes could pull off such a move, I would not be surprised if Vinicius is on a move by the time the transfer window is right. I think, there's a great possibility. But at first, they have to qualify for the Champions League.
Sergio was asking about Paul Bernard. I think that Paul Bernard, and if you heard last week's podcast, I'm surprised by Paul Bernardo. He's been the big surprise for me in terms of the young kids. I think that JJ could use him as a utility player. I don't know if he's going to be using him at right back, especially when Almeida and Gonçalves are going to be back. And then at 8, he's already mentioned at the end of the Marseille game that he's got plenty of guys that play in that 8 spot. But I think he's a kid that has talent. He has bite in him. He has technique. He's already shown that he could play a little bit of right back. To me, he's an upgrade over Gilbert. But still, it's not his natural position. So we'll see what happens.
Guys. As I've sit here, I think every single podcast this preseason so far, it's preseason. I mean, this is when JJ's whatever coach, you name the coach. This is when they're going to play their young kids. They're going to play the kids that they know a lot about to see what they're on. They're trying to understand these players. They're trying to get to know these players better. And look, I'm pretty sure he surprised JJ, and he's proved that in case of an emergency, he could play that position. But as you mentioned, Andre Almeida should be back. You got Diogo Gonçalves. You have the almighty Gilberton. You know what I mean? There's a couple of different options ahead of him. But this is the time to play these kids. It's in preseason. If he's not going to play these kids in preseason, why even have them on the main team after all?
I get it. I understand.
So you can't read too much into it.
There's always the Taças da Liga and
those
stuff
games
like that.
But even then, I don't think. I think for Taça Liga, look, right now Benfica, I think combined, you might not have anything great. But right now Benfica has 3 first-team right backs: Diogo Gonçalves, Andre Almeida, and Gilberton.
I don't know if I would consider Gilberto a first-team right back.
Why? Where's he going?
Well, I mean, in terms of capabilities, does he have the skill to be a starter?
Is he going to be on the
right
main?
back?
He's on the main team. He's going to be on Benfica's main squad.
Hopefully not. Why would we carry 3 right backs?
As of right now, he's on Benfica's main squad.
Ship him off to Brazil.
Bro, Alfredo, whether we look, there's I think you and I could go up and on that roster and say ship, and we'd be left like 4 guys. But I just don't, again, there's other options ahead of him. Look, I'm glad that he's getting a look in preseason.
Gil Diaz also had some minutes in that.
Another guy that
position.
could play a left back and he could play a right back. So
That's right.
and Jensen. I mean, we got like 20 different options. I mean, come on.
Yeah, and as we start seeing JJ's first cuts ahead of this Marseille game, when Benfica traveled down to where did Benfica travel to play Marseille? Was it Algarve?
Algarve.
Yeah, they traveled. So there was
a
roster. Yeah, there was a roster list that went out, and you're starting to see the roster how it shapes up. Obviously, there's some guys that are injured, not going to be able to make the team. But still, the Marseille game, we finally saw, the 3-5-2. Wait, was it the Marseille game? Yeah, the Marseille game, we saw the 3-5-2.
3-5-2 or 3-4-3?
3-4-3. All right.
3-4-3. It depends. But look, I know it. But whatever. Keep going.
Yeah, no, it was interesting.
over
It was
lineup.
interesting to see Tarapte as a second forward, a position that he's a lot more natural than he is as an 8. He is a guy that with talent and creativity to play in that position that can find the holes. I just don't know if he has the mobility to play in that second striker role.
Who's that?
Tarapte. I know he's your favorite, but
You don't think Tarapte has the ability to play in the second in that false line?
He has the ability. I just don't know if he has the mobility.
I look.
But because here
If I'm playing Adel Tarapte, because if I'm playing the Del Tarap, that if me personally, to get the best out of Del Tarap, that's where I would play him. In that false nine, that free roller.
Okay.
But it's very important that when you're playing him, that the same thing doesn't happen last year to the few occasions that he did play as a false nine, which was you had guys in the midfield that had no ability to get the ball to him, and it's clueless because then he has to drop back in order to get the ball. If you have a Vigo, you have a Maite, you have these types of guys that could get them the ball, I'm comfortable with that. But if he's not going to get the ball, then it's pointless.
But think about this, right?
Mhm.
Let's do a trip through memory lane and the teams that JJ has had as a second forward. It's always been guys that are very mobile in terms of the ground they could cover behind that forward. And I don't think that Tarap has that mobility to fit in this idea.
I don't know
That's
about-
where I was going with that.
Okay. I think the aggressiveness, mobility, he's
Well,
a
think about
true-
Lima.
He's a true 10. He doesn't have that aggressive motor.
Think about Lima.
Yeah, I
Right.
understand.
Think
Saviola.
about Saviola.
Yes, all guys that could get around, all guys that their motor doesn't stop. But I think Adel Tarap is a little different because those guys were just like they could put the ball in the back of the net. Saviola was a little bit different than Lima. Lima's a hardworking guy that's going to do everything he's going to do to follow coach instructions, pressure, get on the end of things and score those scrappy goals. And sometimes he can finish with the best of them, but different. The Del Tarap, if he's going to play in that role, it's more of a setup role, more of an organizer, a guy that's gonna desequilibrar the opposition.
I get it.
And so,
But does he have to be deeper on the field in order to have the game in front of him?
If he
or
do-
is a guy that could play with his back to the goal?
I trust. Look, he hasn't been the same player since he's arrived in Benfica that we all knew at QPR, Tottenham, and then the fantastic 6 months he spent at AC Milan. I trust that he can do it, but again, it's important that you have someone in the midfield that's able, like a João Mario, right? Who's it going to be? I've been told it's going to be Maite and it's going to be João Mario. The guy on the odds, the guy on the outside sitting and looking in is going to be Vigo. Again, I have to see that in order to believe it. But from what I understand, that's going to be JJ's preference. That's who he's going to opt first. Those two, that's going to be his preference. João Mario, look, we've all talked about him here on the podcast. Doesn't do anything fantastic. Doesn't do anything bad. But he's the type of guy that could get the ball, distribute, organize the game somewhat. And then I believe that someone like that could get the ball to a guy like a Tarap. And then you let Tarap at the end. You have Pizzi coming in from one side, Everton or Rafa. Everton coming in from the other side. And then Seth, Ramos, Avini, whomever it is, Darwin making the runs. It could work. But it's important that Adel Tarap is in those dangerous positions as opposed to doing what he did last year when he played the few times in that role where he kept dropping back to get the ball.
Yeah.
And then it becomes useless.
I understand.
He becomes absolutely. So he needs to get the ball in those
that.
dangerous areas. So we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens.
We'll see. I mean, I think I enjoyed him, see him as a second forward in this game against Marseille more than any of the other times last season when he played as a second forward.
Yeah, and then one thing about Adel, we love him, and he did that this game as well. He likes to take one touch too many. He likes to get one-on-one, and he lost the ball.
Gotta watch
started
about the
There's nothing wrong with that. There's not. Hey, Alfredo, let me tell you something.
wiggling
Looks
arms.
one of
That's-
those inflatables.
yeah, the inflatable at the car wash.
Let
You
me
got to
t-
stop that because refs are going to be calling that.
Let me tell you guys something. I was 16 years old. Never forget this. And I go to practice with a bunch of guys. And one guy in particular played in 3 different World Cups, all right? And I put pressure on him, and he sticks out his elbow, and he catches me right in the Adam's apple, bro. I couldn't breathe. I'm on the
Yeah,
floor.
but one thing is to
Hold on,
dominate
but
your
he
space.
taught me how to use. The point is that he stopped, man. You all right? Whatever. And the guy spoke to him. Once he taught at 16 years old, he taught me the lesson. You gotta play. You gotta protect yourself. And sometimes you gotta listen.
But one thing is protecting your space. The other thing is flailing.
There's
your
nothing.
arms.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I don't. I'm being honest, and I'm not defending El Tarap. I think that any player that does that in the Portuguese league, where everybody just dives on the floor for any type of contact, they're gonna look for anything to initiate that contact in order to go down. Look, he's got to fight for his space. I guess sometimes he might take it overboard, but again, I personally, I don't have a problem with that. Me personally, because if he doesn't do that and he loses the ball, keeps his arms down, what are you gonna say? The guy's not fighting for the ball. Look, that's his style of play, and he likes to use his arms to protect himself. I'm totally okay with that. Me personally.
Apparently, JJ is too, because he had a comment on one of the post conferences in which they asked him about it, and You just said that. That's the one. Ay,
Yeah.
West Kumpao.
Bro, but it's the truth though. That happens in the EPL, happens in other leagues where not these ticky-tacky fouls are called in the Portuguese league. And it's just fine. It's just in the Port. And I know he had one here against Marseille, and the dude got pretty upset. But again, he's fighting for his position. He's fighting it out. And
Yeah.
I'm totally, and it's not because I'm an adult up.
But as somebody in the commentary was saying, apparently refs have been instructed to be calling these more often this season. So it might spell trouble for Tarat. But nonetheless, I think that I don't know. I think it's a viable option.
What
think
spells trouble for Tarat?
the new rule that the refs are going to be enforcing with the flailing of the arms.
So now they have an anti-Tarat rule.
Not an anti-Tarat rule. It's
Wow.
just a rule that makes referees watch for that. Look, I don't have a problem if you got the ball and you open your arms.
Here's the thing.
But when you're swinging them like this,
Alfredo,
that I have a
I
problem.
gotta make space.
No, you're swinging.
You're not, dude, swing it.
Futebol
Yo,
não se joga com os braços.
Opa, você, listen, guys.
Mãos
You're making
and ball.
you're making a bigger thing of this than what it should be made of. At the end of the
You're
day,
just biased, dude.
I'm not. Why?
You're biased.
I
for
play
Tarat.
like that. Why are we muted? Oh,
You're
that's
not-
different.
you're
One.
not muted.
I played like that. Dude, you have to gain your space. You have to fight for the ball. And at the end of the day, in today's football, more so than 5-10 years ago, today's you have VAR, right? If a guy's making contact and it hits in the face and you could tell it's deliberate, yeah, they could very easily, oh, referee, oba, presta atenção. Oh, guys, bro, but a lot of times you see he pushes off here on his shoulder. Guys are falling to the ground as if he punched them in the face, and they're actually getting that call. In today's football, with the insertion of a VAR, right? There should be no room in football for that. They could absolutely monitor it at all times.
Yeah. What's up? What's up, Moraes?
My
Long
man,
time
Mo.
no speak, man.
Mo, your boat.
Yeah. Anyway, favorite goalie. We're going in order, but we'll answer questions. Favorite goal right now. I'm
Favorite
not,
goalie.
I don't like any
None of
goalies on
them.
this squad, dude. To be honest, I really I'm not
Favorite
big
goalie.
on.
Estamos
Jan
mal
Oblak.
habituados. Estamos mal habituados.
I'm not big on either Helton or Vlaco Dimos. And never mind Filar. I don't think even Filar makes the conversation. But it's just two guys that don't really inspire confidence, just like Oblak used to do, Ederson used to do. Guy, even what's his name? Moraes, Tur Moraes. He was a guy that I liked and that he inspired confidence. But I don't know.
Jesus.
I don't know about Elton
Inspired
late,
confidence.
man.
Opa. Let me ask you guys a question. And then you guys say I'm biased. But I have a very simple question. In the 10, 15 games or so that the great Elton Milk played last year,
Elton Milk.
okay? What flop? Like, where can you pinpoint to a goal like that? That like, yo, that guy made that's a mistake. You can't eat that,
It doesn't inspire confidence.
bro. If you're gonna compare everybody to your
There was one
ex supermodel girlfriend, bro, that's lixado. That's not muitos anos, yo. Come on, bro. You can't do that. If you're gonna compare everybody to Oblak and
No,
Ederson, we're in trouble, bro.
Helton doesn't inspire me confidence. Never mind Vlaco Dimos.
But I got more confidence when Helton is in there because he actually comes out he catches the ball. Like any cross into the box and Vlaco Dimos attacks it, he's punching it out. He's not, again, and I've complained about this play. It says shot straight at him, cross it straight at him. All he had to do is
You did
Gather
that
the
again
ball.
against Marseille.
gather the ball, keep possession, let your team get back into position. You could, start a counterattack. No, what he does is he punches it out, gives the ball right back to the opposition, puts the ball in a scoring opportunity for you. To me, I have more confidence in a guy that at the very least, knows how to come out for crosses, knows how to come out of his line, knows how to hold on to the ball. If that doesn't give you confidence, I don't know what does. Now, if you're going to compare everybody to Ederson or Oblak, meu amigo, you're going to be here a very long time not trusting Benfica goalkeeper.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the Marseille game, obviously. We're not going to talk about the results because it's really preseason, doesn't matter. But to me, the biggest problem, as I mentioned, is I don't think that Benfica produces enough chances in the final third. There's a lack of dynamics also in the final third, and I see that this as being the biggest problem. I think that defensively,
to be fair, Alfredo, when you have Rafa that was out for 3 weeks on, after his European participation vacation, you got Everton that's supposed to be one of your key players on vacation from Copa America. Then he has to quarantine for 14.
But you can't be dependent on players. The dynamics has to be there.
But Alfredo,
the dynamics has to be there. All the players need to know where to move, where to be, where to go get a ball, where to be in the lane, what spaces to open up. All of that is training by the coach. The positioning, the runs, everything is training by the coach. And don't tell me, Rafa's out. Rafa's not in his best shape. Cebolinha's hasn't been playing. We can't create because of that. Well, you should still be able to create even if those guys aren't there.
I totally understand what you're trying to say. But at the end of the day, I mean, when you're going from a Ferrari to a Pinto, I mean, the difference is going to be a huge difference. Like at the end of the day, Everton is supposed to be a big difference maker. He's supposed to be one of your best players. He's your second most expensive player in the history of Portuguese football. The dude is there. He has the ability to beat guys one-on-one. He has the ability to create. And again, this is preseason. Let me see this first game when the marbles are on the table and it actually means something. The intensity, all that goes up. So let's see the very first game. But at the end of the day, you can't tell me there's no difference between playing a Gildi as a left back and playing a Grimaldo a left back. They should still know, okay, fine, you should know what to do, but your ability as compared to mine, it's totally different, bro. Your ability is next level. My ability, tenho pé esquerdo que é para não cair para o lado. You know what I mean? You can't expect me to do things that I can't do. So I see what you're saying, and you're not crazy for it. But at the end of the day, when you're missing that caliber player on a Benfica roster that doesn't have that many players at that caliber, it's a big difference.
But I'm seeing the same problem that we had last year. We just didn't create. Our first corner against Marseille, not that a corner is any indicative of goal chances or whatever that XD statistic is. Our first corner against Marseille was in the second half.
Well, Alfred, I'll say this. If you really want to get technical, you really want to get into things, the projected starting 11 is pretty much the same exact team from last year, with the exception of João Mario. And maybe I was told Meite is going to start over Weigl. But again, like I said to you before, I want to see it before I believe it. But João Mario is going to play. The difference might be take out Del Trapt, insert João Mario in this position. So in a team that had a lot of deficiencies last year, a lot of holes, and as you said, we struggled for huge portions of the season to create opportunities. Well, guys, if the main addition to this club is João Mario, you can't expect the team to change much from last season. Now, I think what Benfica is banking on and what they're hoping is that the Darwins of the world aren't as bad as they were last year. They're hoping Everton doesn't take 8 months to assert himself. Right? They're hoping that Rafa is a little bit more consistent. They're hoping that having the 3 guys in the back and Verissimo now in-house, they're able to play their system. So, I mean, that's what they're banking on. Because if you're really looking at what should be so different from last year, the only difference is João Mario. It may be Meite. It's the only difference. Everything else is pretty much the same. Still going to be Grimaldo. Still going to be most likely Diogo Gonçalves or Gilberto on the right. You're going to have the 3 guys in the middle, Vertonghen, Verissimo, and Otamendi. Up top, Seferovic or Vinicius, right? For now, at least.
I told you that JJ doesn't want Vinicius.
No, but right now he's playing. Right now he's going to play.
You know how long he played against Marseille?
That's fine. What's his name? Seferovic. That monster year that he had on the Rui Vitória, he didn't play a single minute in preseason.
He played 3 minutes.
That's
Vinicius
fine.
Played 3 minutes against Marseille.
Until Benfica qualifies for the
championship. I just gave
championship.
you inside information. You're refusing to accept it.
Well, no, you told me he played 3 minutes. I don't know if that's everybody knows.
Inside information is that he's on a selling block.
I believe it. But what did I tell you? I believe it.
So, but you're including him in his starting 11.
I didn't say starting 11. I said Seferovic's going to be in the starting 11. I said he's going to play.
It could be Seferovic. It could be Vinicius.
It could. He's going to. I think, Alfredo, if you honestly think it's Seferovic.
I think Gonçalo Ramos plays over Vinicius.
Okay. I mean, Bruno, rewind the tape to 30 minutes ago where I said Vinicius is because of who his agent is, he's gone. I said that.
Yeah.
But he's not going to be gone until Benfica qualifies. If Benfica qualifies for the Champions League, there's going to be a boatload of guys leaving. There's going to be a boatload of guys, not boatload, but there's going to be guys leaving, and there's going to be guys coming in. Believe that. If Benfica doesn't qualify, they got no money.
No.
Some of these guys that are on the transfer block right now will have to be included back into the roster. And the few guys that have any type of value have to go out in order for Benfica to balance their books.
I get it. I understand. I'm just telling you that Vinicius doesn't count right now. So after seeing all these preseason games, what are some of the areas that we still need to reinforce?
According to you, goalkeeper?
No, I'm okay with the goalkeeper. It's all right. It's
right back?
I think fullbacks.
Here's the question I got.
Fullbacks and forward. For me, fullbacks and forwards.
Fullbacks. What? I got a huge question. If we're going to play a 3-4-3, a 3-5-2, we got 33 plus year old center backs. We have another 24, 25-year-old center back who's always injured. He's been injured a lot since he's arrived from Santos at Benfica. Who's our fourth center back? Morato?
Or Ferro.
Okay, again, we need another fourth center back. So then you got in the midfield. Is Maite really the answer?
I don't know. We shall see. We'll talk about Maite in a little bit. But for me, I think that forwards and fullbacks, not necessarily multiple of them, but I think
forwards?
we need a killer up front. We need a matador up front. We need a guy that's going to put the ball in the back of the net.
We got Pino, bro. Scored 2 against us last.
I'm not sold on Pino. As a matter of fact, I think he's going to.
We got Vini go. I think whether we have a legit matador, no, we don't. But I think we have 5 viable options, at least right now. Alfredo, I'm talking about today as we do this podcast. Right now, we have 5 viable options. Seferovic, Vinicius, Gonçalo Ramos, Darwin, and Pino. Do we really need to? I mean, if there's bigger holes, is that something you're going to waste money on? You think that's one of the priorities? I'm asking.
Yeah. When your forwards suck. When your forwards suck, you need to get a guy that's not as sucky as them, or that's better than them. I don't know if I could take another season of Seferovic missing all those sitters and all those goals.
But you could take another season of Darwin missing those?
Well, no, I think like you said, Darwin has to pay a lot more, a lot better this upcoming season. He really had. I mean, one season under your belt. You need to come and bring a different attitude, and obviously different skills also. There was a lot of times that he passed the ball when he should have taken it himself. There was a lot of times that he just tripped on a ball. I mean, he's got to step up his game.
Yeah, look, I'm not. If there's a legit guy out there, Tazon Cavani. If there's a legit guy out there that we can get of that magnitude, I'm not gonna say no. Well, and then there's a guy out there. There's a guy out there, and I'm not starting any rumors. Ladies and gentlemen, don't hit me up on Twitter and say I don't want to hear it. But there's a guy out there that there's still some buzz swirling around. He's a matador, Diego Costa. I believe a guy like that will only join Benfica if they make the Champions League.
And that's a key. That's a key factor. And
exactly.
I think that you're gonna need that. I think I like him. I just think he brings a lot of baggage. Bruno, what do you think?
I don't know. I mean, maybe that's the play. Maybe we get into the Champions League. He comes. Vinicius is out. Maybe Seferovic is also out. And you end up having Costa, Ramos, and Pino, and Darwin. Maybe that's what the play is. I don't know.
I'm not sure I rate Pino just yet. I don't know if he's an addition to this team, to be honest with you.
He's definitely an addition. But
a valuable addition to this team. I don't know.
I'll tell you this much. To come off the bench, I'm okay with him. Now, if you got to roll with him for 2 months, that's right now. I don't know enough about him.
Yeah, I just haven't seen enough from him this preseason that would get me excited. But I like so far. I enjoyed seeing João Mario. I'm excited about João Mario's contribution to this team. Just because I feel that that's a player that fits more within that role that JJ wants. Maite, which Benfica just signed. 27, is it 27? 27-year-old defensive midfield, French midfield that Benfica bought from Torino, 7 or 8 million. I don't think they have divulged yet what the value was. But from what I've seen, physical guy that JJ was looking for. When he was asked in a press conference after the Marseille game about him, he said that it was a guy that brings qualities to the defensive midfield role that the players that he has right now don't do that. And he spoke about Weigl and Florentino specifically for that 6th position. And he said that what Maite brings is he brings that physicality. He brings that presence in the midfield where players might be intimidated to go into those areas. Which he's not too far from the truth, obviously. But we'll see, man. He's a guy that has bounced a lot on loans. He's a guy that Torino fans were happy to see him go. But from the things I've seen on YouTube, and obviously it's YouTube, I'm encouraged by what he can bring to this team. Now, JJ said that he's been 9 weeks without working out. So how long does it take for him to get to speed? He's definitely not going to be available for the game against Spartak. I'm pretty sure he's not going to be in shape against Spartak.
Yeah, I heard the same thing, that he was out of shape and it's going to be a little bit.
But espera ahí. What kind of professionals are we signing, bro? What do you mean out of shape? The guy gets a 3-week break and he's out of shape in 3 weeks.
He said that more than 3 weeks. I
Come
think
on,
he said 9 weeks.
Okay, what? 9 weeks, damn. All right, look, here's a scout. That's a lot. Here's a scouting report I have from someone I trust dearly. I won't name him because in case he's wrong, then
Topo
I don't embarrass him. Topo Gigi.
Familiarly.
He says, I said, yo, what's the scouting report on Benfica's latest signing, Swaliho Maite? And he says, think he'll do well in Portugal. Milan was a level too high for him. Good engine, wins the ball back, but doesn't offer much going forward. A mobile trinco, basically. I think and thank you for the scouting report. Love you, and I'll hit you up tomorrow. But I think he knows. I don't know if he like the comment where he doesn't offer much going forward. I'm not 100% on board. I think he could actually string a pass forward. I think he could actually pick out a pass. I think he's got that ability, and he likes to go forward. Now, whether he's exceptional at it or not, it's a different story. But I think in Portugal, he'll be fine.
No, I think he'll be fine in Portugal. And look, it might be a guy that playing in a system, and we all know how JJ likes to devote a lot of attention to that position. I mean, we saw him with Darão at Flamengo. Well, we saw him make great players out of Matic, right? Javi Garcia. We're all guys that kind of came in, and well, Witzel was already a pretty good player.
Yeah, Witzel's just a knucklehead.
But he's the defensive midfielders. That's a position that JJ focus on. So he might bring out the best in him. And I think I agree. For the Portuguese league, he's good enough. He's good enough for the Portuguese league.
Yeah, the problem is we're hoping that it's more than just the Portuguese league. We're hoping it's the Champions League. And I think, look, he's not going to be the guy that's going to be transferred from Benfica in 2 years for 120 million. But I think he's going to be a guy that's going to be serviceable, a guy that's going to do a good job. And look, the most important thing that we lacked in that midfield last year was that motor, that aggressiveness. And if he brings that, I think it's a welcome addition.
Yeah. Gary B asks, why didn't we pick up Fabio Cardoso? Yeah, why didn't we? I just think that we had way too many center backs, and the priority to spend money wasn't really to buy a center back. That's my logical explanation. Now, when you talk about Fabio Cardoso, you got a guy that was made as a Seixal, a guy that feels the club, a guy that I don't know how much Porto paid for him.
2.5 or whatever it was. I would have gambled it.
That's cheap, man.
He's better than Ferro. He's better today.
Absolutely.
He's better than Ferro.
Absolutely.
He's better than Morato. Today, he would have been an adequate replacement for one of our 3 starters.
But what message you go and grab Fabio Cardoso when you got Morato, who's primed to be in the main team, right? Not primed, but saying he's been waiting his shot and now he's finally getting up there. What message does that send to Morato?
Alfredo, you asked me this question. I feel like we're going back to when Ferro was loaned out to Valencia. And you said, what message does it send to these guys? Bro, this is big boy football. Okay, when you play at a big club like Benfica, nothing is guaranteed. And when spots and roster spots and playing position, all this stuff starts being guaranteed, this is when the drop in the competitive level drops. Nothing should be guaranteed at Benfica. So, Morato, if you want some guaranteed, pick up your game, step it up. And I get it. A lot of you guys want the youngsters to play, as do I. But the one thing that aggravates me is, ladies and gentlemen, pick one. Do you want to be a developmental club? Or do you want to win titles in Portugal? Because it's pretty hard to do both. I know Sporting did it last year. Sporting played one game a week. It took a world pandemic for these guys to finally win a title. So it wasn't that easy, right? But Benfica doesn't have the luxury of playing these kids week in, week out, and then putting up the best results, because the same people that are on Twitter and social media and at the stadium, they're all harping for these young kids to be starting for Benfica, will be the same guys that 3-4 weeks into the season, when Benfica isn't putting up the results that they're expected to put up, are the same guys that are calling for the coach to get fired. You can't have both. We don't have the luxury of being patient. Now, if a kid is ready, play him. But I'm not going to be worried about bringing in a Fabio Cardoso because I'm going to hurt somebody else's feelings. If I think that that player can reach that level, then I'm not bringing in a Fabio Cardoso. But if I have doubts about this player, whoever it may be, it's not personal on Morata. I'm just saying, name the player. Name a center back. If I have doubts about this such player that I've been developing for the last couple of years, and I don't think that they could get to a certain level, and there's a guy I could pick up for 2.5 mil. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
that's
I thought
no-brainer.
I thought it was a no-brainer also for me. But like I said, looking at the depth chart in that position and understanding that you have limited resources and you rather spend your money elsewhere, I get what the move was, but to me, it was a no-brainer. It's a guy that was made in Seixal, a Benfiquista, and now he's joined Porto, and I'm pretty sure he's going to have success there.
Well, Fred, the problem I have, and this is not your fault, right? But the problem I have is when you tell me, well, Benfica's got a little budget, whatever. You just spent 100 million. You mean to tell me 2.5 mil is a lot? That's what's going to break your back.
No, but the priority is elsewhere.
But for 2.5 mil.
What's to say that we didn't attempt to go after him and then we just got beat out by Porto?
He would have. No, I think he would have chose Benfica.
That's what I think.
This is a diehard Benfica. I think he would have chose
Benfica. That's what I think too. I just thought the priority, and I think I've been saying this for the past couple of weeks when we talk about Fabio Cardoso, is that the priority was elsewhere in terms of how the money was going to get spent. You spent 100 million last season. You're in the red right now.
And maybe Benfica thought they were being taken for a ride since they got caught napping 2 years ago when Samaris put out the word that he was going to Porto, and all of a sudden, if he gave him a 4-year deal, 5-year deal, whatever it was, making him one of the highest paid players on the team, maybe they thought, it's not going to happen. Had Benfica known he was going to Porto, do you think Benfica would chase him?
No, I think that he was ready for one of the big three clubs. Either he could have even gone to Braga. I think that would have been an upgrade from Santa Clara. Obviously, nothing against Santa Clara, but the size of the club is completely different. So I think that he was ready to make the jump to a bigger team. Definitely, I think that Benfica was caught sleeping on this one. That's my honest opinion. But again, there might be other motives why Benfica didn't pick him up. Anyway, but talking about transfers, let's look at some rumors and some facts that have happened while we've been away. So apparently, Galatasaray in Turkey has said that Benfica is not parting ways with Jetson. So Jetson is staying. Another polyvalent.
We're not letting him go unless you meet our request.
Yeah, anybody has a price.
Yeah, exactly. So
anybody has a price. But and here's the other thing.
What's the price?
I don't know.
15 mil. 15,
yeah,
that's
mil.
it.
That's it.
That's it.
For Jetson, that's a lot. I just think that, like Cristiano said, once that Champions League comes around and qualify, now it's all of a sudden it's going to untie a lot of people's hands. A lot of people's hands. Here's Sheikh Morslino with a question. To me, we keep Vinny and sign a left back and the right back, two strong guys that can defend the wings well is my priority.
Sign a right back.
I think that I don't.
What do you do with the legend Almeidinhos? He's coming back. What do you mean? Come on,
I don't think that Gil Diaz is competition for Grimaldo, and that to me is worrisome because Grimaldo. We all know Grimaldo has his shortcomings, and I think that if you have a guy that can compete with him week in week out, Grimaldo has no chance but to elevate his game. So,
yeah. I totally understand what you. I mean,
we're
we're trying to figure out the laptop's running out of battery, guys. So for those of you that are wondering what's right there, Bruno, the last one, the white one, yes. And
that's what she said.
Oh, pull it.
Tira deste, mete daqui neste. Tira desse, mete aqui neste.
Tira, met.
Tira, met.
But yeah, look, man, I'm tired of talking.
So apparently Jetson is staying. Who else do we got? Gabriel is on the way out.
He's gone.
Gabriel is on the way
riddance.
out. Samaris, who was relegated to the B team, apparently they're working on rescinding his contract. I wouldn't surprise me that if he stays in Portugal.
My God,
he loves Portugal.
There will be a funeral reception in Portugal if Samaris is gone at Benfica. You're gonna see the
protests.
Yes.
Manifestações.
I mean, I
like they had this these past few days, right? How many people were there, Chris?
They had 15 people, and at least 7 of them were waiting for their kids to come out of practice.
If the day that is announced that somebody leaves Benfica, I would send the National Guard to Vasta Gama and 25 de Abril, make sure nobody jumping off because there's going to be a lot of heartbroken people.
Sheik Marcelino, I agree with you, man. Grimaldo keeps making the same mistakes in defense year after year. Yeah, I mean, we all know that Grimaldo has his shortcomings, and I don't think that Gil Diaz is an upgrade or even somebody that can compete.
I got a great idea. For those of you that want to know my thoughts on Grimaldo, go back to 3 preseasons ago, back this time, like 3 years ago, and then go to the second year and the 30. And I don't think it's changed much.
Yeah.
Don't crack on Gil. Gil is from my hometown. Don't crack on the guy. That guy gets a pass.
I don't, Chico, I don't think he's much of a competition, to be honest with you. I haven't been impressed with him.
Who? Gil Diaz? Come on,
yeah.
it's impressive. He made it from my hometown to Benfica. That's impressive.
Gary B says give somebody a position as an ambassador at Benfica. I don't know about that, man.
No, I don't know about that either.
Just cut your ties. When you decided to, as Cristiano mentioned, when you decided to sign him, you give him a hefty contract, and that needs to come out.
Yeah, but if he's making him an ambassador, I don't think they're gonna keep paying him the same salary.
He wants to play, dude.
You think he goes to a rival?
No.
In Portugal?
I think he ends up at he may end up at a Guimarães or something like that.
In Portugal?
Yeah.
Oh, I think he leaves Portugal.
He might go to Greece.
He leaves Portugal.
He loves Portugal.
Belenenses. At least he'll stay in Lisbon.
He'll stay in Lisbon. I think he leaves
Portugal. Too low of a team for him. I think he's got a market. Dude, he's an international player. He's not currently an international player, but he's a player that's featured for Greece.
Yeah, look, ain't nobody tripping over themselves to sign him. But I do think
as
that
a free agent.
Even as a free agent, but I think that there's teams in Greece and other leagues. And again, it depends on his agent, how good his agent is. But I'm pretty sure that there's other spots that the guy could get some playing time.
Yeah, Sheik Marcelino was saying Lazaro from Inter and Reinildo from Lille are good.
Look, Lazaro, I would take Lazaro because he could play the whole right flank.
Reinildo is going to Porto, from what I understand.
O Reinildo,
cara.
Cara é o rei do... No. I don't know. I never heard of that guy.
Tá indo para Porto.
Beleza. Lazaro, I like him because, as I said, he can do the whole right flank. He can play right back. And especially if Benfica, I've always said, my favorite formation to play is a 3-4-3, a 3-5-2. But you need the 2 horses on the outside, right? And if you get a guy like Lazaro, and I could play that guy as my quote-unquote wing back, and he could just do the whole flank, I would do it in a heartbeat. He's got a huge motor. And he's a very interesting player, so I would absolutely take him.
The prospect of playing in the Champions League is something that is going to attract players. Nobody wants to not play European ball.
And when you get to share a locker room with the legend Andre Almeida,
it looks like Alpha Smith is on the way to Guimarães on a loan with a 1.5 mil option, and Vlaco Dimos is generating interest from Lille. You know what happens if Vlaco Dimos leaves? Do we go and pick up another goalie?
Leo. Now you got Svilar.
Got Svilar as a number 2 in last year contract. Need to keep him happy.
Benfica is gonna have to, take the dude out for a milkshake, little French fries and chicken fingers, before they take him to the dance. They gotta, So
Before you take them to the dance.
yeah, before you're buying tickets to the dance, you gotta treat them well a little bit. And I think Benfica do everything they can to show to them and prove to them that, look, we have serious intentions. And what better way to show that they're serious about the kid playing in the future by naming them number 2 and maybe, let them compete for the number 1 spot with Helton Milk.
Yep.
So who becomes our third goalie?
The kid from I forget his name
Samu?
now. No, yeah, Samu. Good job. Samu is the guy that Benfica.
Samuel Suarez, I think his name
Yeah,
is.
Benfica.
That's his name. That's his name.
Benfica will be interested. They're
Samuel Jumpe.
What questions do you guys have for us that you haven't already asked as we get ready to close out the podcast? We'll let that air out because it's
this is
about
a short one. It's been an hour already.
10-15 minute delay, 10-15 second delay between Hearts Live and the people that are on YouTube.
What hey Chris, what do you think about CJ?
What about him? CJ Dos Santos?
Yeah.
Look, CJ Dos Santos is one of the players I don't like to talk about often because I obviously have a personal relationship with him and his family, and but my honest opinion on the kid is that he is a fantastic goalkeeping prospect. We're talking about a 6'4", 6'5" kid that could play with the ball at his feet like many midfielders could. He's agile. He's quick enough. He could absolutely play that goalkeeper position, like, with the best of them at that age group. Kid that's been a U.S. national team player for many, many years. He just got called up last December to USA's main national team. So again, I know some of you listening to this will scoff at, the fact that it's the United States, but at the end of the day, the United States has always been good at the goalkeeper position. So when a guy like CJ, whomever it is, the Horbats of the world, whomever it is, when these guys get that opportunity and get named to the U.S. national team, it's something that should be taken serious. So they don't just call up any old bum, because the one position that the United States has always been strong at has been at goalkeeper. So I do think that there's something there. But again, like any other young goalkeeper, they have to play. And CJ needs an opportunity. And for some reason, he's not getting that opportunity at Benfica.
No.
We don't know why, but he's not getting it. So it's probably in his best interest to go play somewhere, but he needs a club that's going to believe in him. He needs a club that's going to give him an opportunity, because I do think that this kid gets playing time. We're talking about 2-3 years from now. We're talking about a serious goalkeeper, because there's not many goalkeepers his size that could do what he could do. But again, like many young goalkeepers, they need to get the kinks out. Just like Svilar. When Svilar played in that Champions League game, made that mistake, he kind of played with his mind for a little while, but he's getting over it. You could tell, at least he's being a professional body. He went down to the B team when many of us thought he wouldn't go. He's been playing with regularity in the B team. He's, his performances picked up week after week, and he kind of worked out the kinks. And CJ Dos Santos, who I have the utmost trust and belief that this kid will be legit in a few years, but he needs to play. And for some reason, right now, Benfica, there's other guys that are getting the opportunity ahead of them.
And we don't, I mean, look, there's always a lot of things that happen in the background that we're not aware of, agent influences, sponsorship influences, stuff like that. Chico Marcelino, who are the replacements to Everton and Rafa on the wings? Pizzi can do the right side. And what about the left side? That's a good question, because as I am watching Benfica play against Marseille with Pizzi on the right and Rafa on the left, when Everton comes, what happens? Is Pizzi going to sit, or is Rafa going to sit?
Well, it's going to be I'm glad that question came up, because I was going to ask you this before, but then I knew you wanted to talk about Maite and all this a little bit later on. But the question I was going to, if you're naming the starting 11, who's going to be your right winger? So it's going to be Pizzi or Rafa, but one of those are going to be the odd man out. One of them is going to go, and it's a good problem for us Benfica fans. It's a good problem, because that means you got a valuable asset off the bench that could come in and change things around. So it's good. It's not a bad problem, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, I mean, if one of those guys gets injured and then you're down to 2 as opposed to 3, then that's the problem. Who are going to be the guys that make that next step up to get those all important minutes?
Yeah, no, it's going to be tricky, because I think that Everton, especially if Everton carries the adaptation that he had throughout last season, and towards the end of the season, we saw the real Everton. Is this going to be a new Everton that when he starts from the beginning of the season, and something that's more similar to what we saw towards the end of the season? If this is the Everton that comes in now, I find it hard that he's not going to be a starter.
Well, here's the thing. Also, when you're playing this 3-4-3 system that JJ's playing in, or if you go to a 3-5-2, you really don't need the two wingers in a 3-5-2 because you're going to have the three guys in the middle. Let's just say you got the three guys in the back. You got Gonçalves on the outside, Andrezinho on the right, Grimaldo on the left, the corridors. Then you got João Mario, Weigl, and Meite in the middle. And then the two strikers. You don't really need those wingers. So you could get around it that way. If you play a 3-4-3, you could also play, let's say Everton gets, God forbid, gets injured and he's out for an extended period of time. You could play the Darwins of the world. You see that Darwin likes to tuck in on the left, so he'd probably take that role. He could play that role because when you're playing that 3-4-3, there isn't that much of a defensive responsibility or much of a role in that play. So you could play a Darwin. You could play maybe Gonçalo Ramos. You could play a little bit different. But now in the old school formation, a 4-3-3, or you're playing a 4-4-2, then especially a 4-4-2, because then you got the two, and it's going to be Rafa or Pizzi. One of them has to sit. Everton's going to be on the other side, and God forbid one of those guys gets hurt. You're going to see the Gil Diaz of the world. You're going to see maybe Grimaldo play the left mid. He's going to have to move things around. But right now, off the top of my mind, there aren't many other options. I mean, you got the kid Paulo Bernardo. Could he play on the right mid? He's more of a center guy.
Yeah.
But if he can play right back, I like to believe he can play right mid.
We got Jetson also.
For now.
Yeah. Chico Marcelino, I agree with you, man. I thought that Waldschmidt was a little bit of a disappointment last year, especially a kid that came so highly touted as a great talent, German national team player, main national team player. I thought that he went down a little bit, but I mean, can we scrap all of last year in terms of performance? Because if JJ said, oh, we were affected by COVID, blah 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 blah. So maybe we could scrap all of that and we'll see a new Waldschmidt. I don't know, man. I'm kind of pulling for him.
He's another guy that gets lost in the shuffle.
He does get lost in the shuffle because there's so many options.
Look, we just named 5 strikers and we didn't even mention him.
I always thought of him as really more of a second.
Yeah, I know, but either way, we still didn't mention him.
Yeah.
And we talked so much about that op.
Yeah.
But the thing about about Waldschmidt is and we talked about it last year, Alfredo. I thought that he would get a little bit more involved in the play. He's more of a striker than he is a false 9.
Yeah, like a guy that combines.
Yeah, he's like Jonas was a false 9. He could come back, get the ball, I thought Waldschmidt was again, last year was last year. We'll see. We're gonna have to clean the slate on these guys.
Yeah, we do.
And we'll see. Maybe with the addition of a João Mario, what am I saying? And get that the middle of the park shored up. Maybe these guys play a little bit freedom a lot. They don't have to worry so much about getting back, because I know that plays on players' minds, having to get back defensively and do those roles. Maybe we see a different Waldschmidt, but from what I seen last year, I thought he was a guy that could get a little bit more involved than he didn't. So in my book, at least going into this, he's more of an out-and-out striker than he is a guy that can link up play.
Yeah. Nunduk is asking what player. We're answering your questions, by the way. So if you have any questions, please type them up on the chat. What player do you realistically want to see at Benfica this summer? That's a tough question.
Al-Musrati for me. And I know my day. I will still get Al-Musrati.
The thing on Musrati, right? Yes, you're picking up from Braga, but for the amount that they were asking, and I think it was like 20 million that they were asking for him, you're picking up a player, but all of a sudden you're funding their ability to get a couple guys that can make a huge difference in their squad, and they can make their squad extremely competitive. I do like them.
But either way, they're competitive. I mean, look, here's the thing. You're right, but it's not with $10 that you're going to get another Al-Musrati. He's going to be a difficult player to replace as well.
Right. But what did they get him for?
But who cares? That's not our concern.
Yeah, no, it's not. But I'm just saying,
12 mil.
You'll be subsidizing
12 mil. 12, Alfredo, whether it's us, somebody else, and they go get Al-Musrati, they're going to be subsidized. It's part of football. 12 mil plus, come on, bro, the Murirense legend. Chiquinho. I mean, it makes, you know what I
12
mean?
million plus Chiquinho and the right back.
João
What's his name?
I wouldn't
Ferreira.
do João Ferreira. Come on, you almost had the U.S. I mean, the Italian national team goalkeeper Matias Perin for João Ferreira. Now you're gonna send him for Al Musrati.
What else we got here?
Who would you like to see? You didn't answer the question.
I don't know, man. It's tough.
Bruno,
And-
you're
and
over there
here's the-
playing computer.
and
I
here's-
mean, for me,
go ahead.
out of the people that we've spoke about and brought up, Costa, for several reasons.
Diego
Obviously,
Costa.
you know, Diego Costa. Obviously,
Diego.
not only because
Diego.
Diego, I'm sorry, you're right. Diego
Fala à
Costa.
frente do microfone, pá.
Not only
Tell this guy's
because
behind the scenes guy.
he would bring value, I think, to the team, but you know, it's been said before, it'd be a nice matchup to see him versus Pep again. And I think
Pay-per-view, bro.
I think it'll also bring a little bit of visibility to the Portuguese league. You know, you're going to bring a little of that Spanish rivalry into Portugal.
Spanish.
Well, yeah, that's where the rivalry started. Pep versus Costa.
No, when he was at Braga, but nobody knew about Diego Costa at the time.
Yeah. No, I think that there's a lot of teams as they approach the final stages of their preseason that there's going to be players that they're going to be cut. And Benfica hasn't done this in a long, long time. Where look at the list of these players that, whether it's Barcelona, Real Madrid, Manchester United, Manchester City, look at the list of those players, try to grab one of those players on a loan with an option and have the parent club pay their wages.
Should we go any further than a Man United reject, the Benfica legend, Karel Pawlowski?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
But Alfredo, I
remember when we
agree
used
with
to
you.
get the Saviolas
Yes,
of the world.
I agree with you 1,000%. But right now,
Right now, I don't know.
the atmosphere in the club is not something that I want to leave a club like that. I'm pretty sure a lot of players leaving the Manchester United is Real Madrid. They have other options, right?
And again,
Wait.
Champions League.
But the Champions League, if again, as I stated at the beginning of the
Yep.
podcast, this is all going to boil down to if Benfica qualifies for the Champions League. I believe there will be players leaving, there will be players joining, but Benfica has to be amongst the big boys if you want to go in those plantes, if you want to go to those rosters and pluck away, you know, the region. I know that right now you could get Felipe Coutinho for like 20 million, but then you got to pay his $14 million salary. But
Yeah.
you can
Well, that's the trick. The parent club has to shoulder some of that the salary obligations. Chico Marcelino, if Luca Waldschmidt was a Seychelles Academy product, he would get the Jota treatment and get loaned to some Alaves.
Valladolid.
That's
But
the
it's-
vida.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, look, he wasn't
They invested a lot of money on him.
impressive last year. I'll say that. He had a couple moments, but I think he wasn't the player we all anticipated he was going to be. But again, we could say that about Darwin. We could say that about Everton. The only guy realistically that came in last year and lived up to the hype was the great Gilberto. No, I'm joking. It was Otamendi. And even Otamendi at the very beginning, you know, he had a gaff, whatever, but then Otamendi asserted himself. But for the most part, everyone that came in struggled for huge chunks of the season.
Yeah.
Everton turned it around towards the end, the last 4 or 5 games. That's when you kind of pick things up, and we hope that that's the Everton we see coming into this year. But for the most part, everyone out of that 100 and whatever it was spent was a disappointment.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. No, I agree with you. Let's see what else we got. We got here. Yeah, Noon Duke says Diego Costa would scare Porto. He would scare most of the people that play against him. He's a freaking beast.
I mean, but then again, he's a beast. He hasn't played, in 18 months or whatever it was. I don't know. Not 18 months, but it's been a while. It's been a huge chunk.
Yeah.
What kind of Diego Costa would we be getting in? Would it be another guy that's coming in like Maite that's out of shape? It makes no sense.
One of the highest salaries also.
He'll be the highest paid player on the team. I'm a free agent. I'm looking to make a move out of Torino, and I'm out of shape. I mean, what the
Yep.
That doesn't make much sense.
Yeah. Well, look,
One of those Vieira deals.
Some
maybe.
guys just don't have that work ethic. I don't know.
Vieira was a little tied up. He couldn't make it. He didn't have time.
Hugo Ferreira, Al-Musrati, Diego Costa and Alex Vidal e plantel fechado. Yeah, that's Those are three names, man. Those are three. Otamendi should be the only player wearing the captain's armband. What about when he's not on the field?
Tarat. Come on, guys. We all know. You guys, see, I love you guys, but Hugo, thanks for chiming in, by the way. Appreciate it. But come on, we forget. Capitão Almeirinhos. He's back. He's gonna wear the armband.
Yeah,
I don't know, but JJ does things differently.
I'm better with Almeirinhos than Pizzi, to be honest with you. I don't know. I don't know. I can't stand Pizzi.
El Capitán.
Non posso com a cara
Yo,
dele, pá.
The greatest right back in Benfica history, bro. I'm joking.
Dude,
he's look. I'll tell you this much. After Veloso, he's probably got the long. He's been there 9 years.
You were talking too much before, and I lost my train of thought because I wanted to ask you. Because you were talking about
me talking.
There is a succession plan in terms of Benfica understanding what they have in their background or the B team that could step up for somebody. And Nelson Semedo was an example of that, where you let Maxi go, and all of a sudden everybody's
I'm glad
we
you
don't
bring
have
up
a right
Nelson
back
Semedo, because you mentioned before inside news, right? Vinicius only played 3 minutes. Nelson Semedo that preseason played 0 minutes.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
He played here. No, what are you talking about? He played at Red Bull. That was the first time we saw him, and you said you were impressed by him.
He did. No, Tarap too. The first half, then he got subbed out. Never played again.
Man.
Remember at halftime?
Let's not bring that sub.
He got subbed out at halftime. Never played again for like 5 years. But yeah. Look, what's the dude's name that year? I think Smith got injured, and they brought up a kid. He played 1 game. He was champion. Never
Clesio, Guarco, something like that.
Clesio, that's the guy.
That was the guy.
Yes.
And now he's playing in like Russian or Thailand or something.
Is he even playing?
Yeah, something like that.
Anyway, but what's the success? Look,
it's a succession plan. Yeah,
I don't look, Alfredo. Look, man, and I hope they're not listening to this over there at the Louisville station. But I think majority of these people don't know if they got a job tomorrow. I mean, they don't know when the lights are going to be shut off on them at any point. So I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Hugo says he's in Belgium. You're right. He's in an obscure league. I know that.
What'd you say?
Belgium,
Russia,
Thailand.
It's close. It's right there.
China, Russia.
Yo, it's all a flight away.
Yeah,
right
that's
there.
it.
Right.
Anyway, that is all we got for you next week. Bruno didn't say much, but we like it that way, right?
Yeah, that's it. What do you mean? You don't need me to say a lot.
Bruno was controlling our comments, so if the comments weren't put up, blame Bruno, Hugo.
It's the only reason why Hugo's are being up there, because he knows him personally.
Of course.
Who doesn't Hugo know? But anyway, next week we'll be back. We'll preview the official start of the season for Benfica, the game against Spartak Moscow in Moscow,
yes,
and also the start of the league, which starts that weekend. Sporting will play Braga this weekend, so Portuguese football is back for the Super Cup this Saturday or Sunday, and they will have people in the stands, from what I understand.
So according to the way I see this, as long as it's not Benfica playing in any of these finals, you gotta have people. If Benfica's playing, nope. Is that what it is? Is that what I'm getting here?
That's what it feels like. Right? I had the same thought today when they announced that the Supertaça was
16,000
fans.
Where's the Supertaça being played? Coimbra?
Coimbra or Leiria?
I was being sarcastic about Coimbra, but
Coimbra or Leiria or Aveiro. I don't know.
I don't know why they stopped doing it in Aveiro. That was always
it
was always the Supertaça place.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Hugo can tell us. Hugo's got the inside information.
Don't know his elbow from his pinky, man.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's all we got for you. Thank you, all 10, 11 people that were watching us live, man. We appreciate you.
We hit a little bit more than 11.
I know. Alfredo's being a Debbie Downer.
I appreciate you, Aveiro.
My hometown. Yeah. This is to celebrate.
Dude, you cannot say that Aveiro is your hometown when you're from a little fishing village down the coast.
Is this guy? Are you like serious right now?
I can't say
that is
Lisbon.
The dumbest comment.
I can't say that Stubble is my hometown.
That's the dumbest comment you've made in the history of the Benfica podcast.
Oh,
and you said some players should play sometime.
How is Aveiro your hometown?
How? Let me ask you a question, my man.
You're from Gafanha. How was that Aveiro?
Hometown of Gil Diaz, by the way, Benfica player. Don't get that messed up. Here's a question for you.
So Gil Diaz is also from Aveiro in that case.
Hold on. You were born in Jersey, right?
All right.
What town were you born in Jersey?
It was
St.
born
Michael's.
in,
Where were you
in
born?
Jersey. That's it. Doesn't matter.
There we go. You were
I
born in
was
St.
born. I was
Barnabas?
born in Livingston. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
where's Livingston belong to? Is it not New Jersey?
Yeah.
What?
Oh,
You're
no. I thought you were
comparing a
gonna tell
state
me.
to a town.
No, I thought you were gonna tell me like, oh, you were born in Livingston, but you
I
say you're
was-
from Newark, and I was gonna say, yeah, because I was raised in Newark.
I was born at Hospital Aveiro.
Oh, get out of here,
What do you
bro!
mean,
I'm not
alright?
from Livingston, though. I was born in
I
Livingston.
was born in Hospital Aveiro.
It was
In
the
my
hospital.
hometown.
because they didn't have hospitals
In
in,
my
your hometown.
In my hometown is 10 minutes. What this guy's laughing like every city in America's
No
got
way,
every city in America's got a hospital. Every town in America's got a hospital. Come on, you guys say something.
Newark
See,
has a
everyone.
hospital.
This is a conversation that's
You
gonna
guys are
keep
just
going.
mad.
Take care,
that
everyone.
You're not from
Take
Aveiro.
care,
You're
take
mad
care.
you're not from Aveiro.
Later.